Hello, and welcome to Fusion Writing, where building character meets creating structure. This is the map day of our writing week, and this is where you're going to get the specifics on the writing assignment that you're getting today, and of course, that you're going to hopefully put over in LiLLiPub when you're done doing your writing. So it's time for Victoria to tell us more about what she is going to have you writing this week. Victoria?
Hello, welcome back everyone. Happy Writing Week. So let's get right into it. What we were talking about in the Zettelkasten section last week was we talked about collecting all of these little bits of inspiration, research, writing bits, character development, and getting all of those things filed away in your Zettelkasten. So now that you've done all of your filing and everything is nice and orderly and you're ready to roll, let's flip that upside down. What I did was I just reached over into my Zettelkasten box and I pulled out my main male and my main female character cards, just so that I have those at hand as I'm writing about them. This tells me the basics about these characters, which is super helpful early on in the writing process because you don't have all of this really in your head yet. When you're fully in your world and Kathleen has helped you step fully into your characters, then you can usually do the writing without having to have all of those details at hand when you're doing it. So let's just start from the beginning. You've got your character cards, and maybe you have a couple of ideas for scenes. Let's say that you know that you need to have these two characters engaged in some kind of an event or a conversation. You need a scene where let's pretend they're going to make a discovery. So how are you going to do that? Well, my friends, this is your assignment. The first thing that you need is you need your characters. So identify who is going to participate in this scene that you're dreaming of. So now that you've got your characters, you got to put them somewhere. So you're going to need setting. Think about, in my story, for this event to happen, in order to set this scene, where do they need to be? And again, you're going to go to your note cards. So let's say, for example, I pull out from my story cards a scene that's labeled Riverbank. Well, I know from my research that Riverbank takes place in the past, so that scene's not going to work for what I want to write here. So I need to go to more ideas about something that happens now. Well, Kathleen likes to say, I do love to put my characters in a cafe. So let's go there. So I'm going to put my two characters in the cafe that's across the street from the main female character's apartment because I know there's a cafe there. So now I've got the two of them in the scene. Then maybe I'm going to go to my experience collection. And if you've been following us, you know what that is. You know that your experience collection are the cards that you create on a daily, I hope, basis about just things going on around you. Maybe you have an experience collection card that records something that you witnessed in a cafe. So you're going to pull out that card and it's going to tell you the sights, the sounds, the smells, the environment, the atmosphere, all of those little details that you captured. Those are the basis for this scene that you're going to write with these characters. See how that works? You simply start pulling from the different aspects of your Zettelkasten the pieces that you need to get this scene set and to do the writing. Well, since we know we've got two characters, what are they going to have to do? They're going to have some dialogue. That's the third leg of your table. You've identified your people, you've put them in a place, and now you're going to give them something to do. They're going to have a conversation. And that, my friends, is where you go to your dialogue cards. Remember the dialogue collection? Where you're collecting bits of conversation, snippets of things that could be included in a monologue, all those little things. If it were me, I would just grab that stack of cards and just thumb through them and see, ooh, this kind of an argument that drops a detail that tells the reader something, that's the conversation I want them to have. And then you're just going to work those two characters into that scene, into that conversation, and work through that scene on the page. Hopefully what you're going to end up with is the setup or the beginning of the scene, the middle where the meaty stuff takes place. They get into that heated conversation and reveal that detail to the reader. And then you're going to wrap up that scene. Maybe they come around to their senses and they stop arguing and they decide to agree to disagree and they leave the cafe back on good terms. Easy peasy. Now, That's how you take your cards, set the scene, choose the people, give them something to do, and then wrap it around the details of whatever happens in that beginning, middle, and end. I'm going to leave you there for my piece of the assignment because that's all the structure and the information that you need to draft out a scene. I'm not going to say anything about what's going on inside these people because that's dipping into the character traits. So for that information, I will send you over to Kathleen.
Okay, thank you, Victoria. I love that idea of pulling from all of these different elements and remembering back to that scene when you recorded that location where you heard the dishes clank and that awful crash from the kitchen, and somebody dropped a whole tray of something. Whatever it is, it'll put you back in that scene where you were, and it will help you make your whole story more believable because you will be reliving that experience while you're writing your characters. Well, we've talked a lot about writing character traits into a story, but that is actually a harder thing to do, more difficult thing to do than to analyze what you've actually done, because you know an awful lot about the character traits instinctively. That they're in all kinds of books. Authors who could never say 28 character traits, what do you mean? But they might write with them all. And because they're part of us as human beings. So what we're going to do in our part of the story afterwards is we're going to look at your writing, the writing that you just did, and we're going to pour into those characters, and we're going to see what came out of you, because it came out of your heart as you wrote. You put that down. You put it out of the image of those characters that you have in your mind. You have your male lead, you have your female lead. They're talking to each other out of your image of who they are. You've revealed something about their character in the writing, whether it just comes out inevitably. So now I'm asking you to put on your analytical glasses and write yourself an expose on what you saw, as though you were analyzing another writer's composition. What did you see in your character? That Ralph fellow, what came out when he got so sharp? What did he reveal about himself? Just go ahead and put it out there in paragraph form. I'm not asking you to make any diagrams or choose any specific character trait, or whether it's the wing, the rudder, or the anchor. Just in prose, just the way you talk to yourself. What about your male lead's character, your female lead's character, the people that were in that scene? What did they show about themselves that was personality? And then when you experience that, and just let that free-form paragraph come out of you, then after that happens, then you can do another analysis on it, another pass through and say, oh, okay, now would I be able to put that on a character profile diagram? And if you can, and you've got one that's in a spot where you know about, is that going to be showing up again in my story? What do you think? Is that an important character trait, or is that one of those incidental things that just coincidentally showed up in this meeting? You get to think about it. And the whole point of this exercise isn't that, oh, you're going to get the character traits right. No, the whole idea of this thing is you're going to start being aware of character traits. First, after you've finished writing, you'll be aware of what you've shown. That's going to just start building up within you. And you will find that if you continue to do that post-mortem look at what you've done, you're going to find that you portrayed the characters more and more richly every time you write them. That richness is going to come out of you, and you're going to spot it when you look back on it. You don't want to be sitting there when you write and say, oh, okay, kindliness. All right, well, we got to show kindliness. Okay, smile. Oh, that's going to make your writing feel so artificial. You're going to go nuts. No. You can have it in your spirit because you've read about when she was kindly the last time, and that it's just going to come out of you because that's who she is. And what this exercise will do, you'll think that it's not accomplishing anything, but it is. It's making you more sensitive to the character traits, and that's going to show up more and more and more in your writing. And you're going to be astounded if you keep those papers, keep those analyses as you work. You're going to find you're going to go writing more and more and more and deeper and deeper and deeper. You're going to say, wow, I'm really starting to get these character traits and how my character is moved by them. So that's our first tiptoe exercise into doing that with this week's Writing Week. Okay, well, that's my presentation. Victoria, would you care to sum us up?
Oh, absolutely. As always, we dovetail beautifully. What a great exercise for giving yourself permission to review what you've written with that critical eye. I would add a quick side note, which is what Kathleen has just talked you through, is taking a deeper dive of discovery into what you write. That can only make you a better writer and get you further seated and familiar into that world that you're writing about. So my pantsers, this is an amazing exercise for you because you're used to just sitting down and discovery writing things and figuring it out and letting it lead you where it wants to go. Then go back, do Kathleen's deeper dive and ask yourself, why did they do that? What could that mean? How could that play out? How could I revisit it? You just start asking yourself those questions as you're talking to yourself about that scene on the page. Just do it in your journal. You will be amazed at the things that you discover about what you've written. Absolutely bravo. This is one of our best episodes. So now Kathleen's going to tell you how to join us.
Okay, now when you've done your writing and you've done your analysis, come on over to LiLLiPub.org. We get together every Saturday to talk about our writing, and it's just a wonderful opportunity. We're still a very small group, so you will get time and attention given to your writing. Come on over to LiLLiPub.org. It's also the best way to see and review all of our lessons. You can ask us questions. You can talk with your fellow Lilligans, the members of LiLLiPub, and you will get answers quickly. So see you over in LiLLiPub. Bye-bye.